Right. So in this section, let's look into automating on iOS real device using Appium. So this section is little tricky. So automating iOS apps in real device is not straightforward. Okay, so we have seen how to automate on real device in Android. That's pretty straightforward and easy. So we need to just change one desired capability to make it run in your real device. But in iOS, it's not that pretty straightforward. It's obvious, right? So Apple have more security and it's just not allow everyone to invoke apps in real devices using automation code. Yes, but you can do that, but with some set of instructions, you can achieve that. So I can tell you one thing, that this is not a cakewalk like what we do for Android. So you have to have some knowledge of Xcode as well. So ideally, as a tester, you really not required a knowledge to have an Xcode. I'll let you know in this section about where do you really need to know the knowledge of that. But uh, from my point of view, for QA perspective, this should be straightforward. Okay, so you need not have any additional knowledge to set up this iOS real device. But yeah, so if there are no iOS developers in your team, then it's challenging task to us. Okay, so obviously there will be an iOS development team if you are working on iOS testing, isn't it? So if you are working on iOS app, then there should be someone who develops that. So in that case, your work will be easy. So okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up before we actually dig into this section, but you know that I'll try my best to make and looks this very easy. All right. Okay, so first thing first, we have to install few softwares before we start working on this automation. And yeah, these two are the softwares where you can hit from your command line in Mac to get into your machine. So you see here brew install Libby mobile device. So brew is one of the command line tool which can get softwares installed in your Mac machine. Okay, so by default in most of the machines you will not have this command line, so you need to download it first. I mean, so if you write this command in your terminal in Mac, it can throw you an error saying brew command cannot be found because that tool is not installed in your OS. So first you have to hit this command in your terminal so that all required command line tools will get downloaded in your machine. Okay, you see that I'm asking to download this homebrew. Right, so after you hit this command and then when you hit this next command, so you will not see the error of brew is not recognized as a command. Okay, so that's a prerequisite. Okay, so let's go back to our team viewer and access this. All right, so I have a code here and I'll go back to my terminal. Right, terminal. Okay, so let me shut down, quit terminal completely and open the fresh one. So it'll be easy for us. Perfect. So make sure you give this command. I will attach this document to this lecture. So go and download, copy this and simply paste it in your terminal. So it will get download the brew command and then you can give this. So I already gave that in my machine. So the next one is you have to hit this command and once it is installed then you have to hit this. All right, so these two softwares are mandatory before you start working with iOS. You may be wondered, how do I know that I have to install these? Even I have learned this from their official documentation. So if you want to know where exactly the documentation is located, I can walk you through that, but I just cut all the garbage and presented what all you really need to run this test. Okay, but let me go back and open that. Just type Appium real device iOS app. Type this. You see that this is an official link to their website, and there they were asking to install this command first. Okay, and once you are done with this, in addition to the dependency of Libby mobile device, right, you can read that. What is this? Appium real device support depends. This real device support depends on the central third-party software suite, which is Libby mobile device. So for that reason, we are actually downloading this first. And next, in addition to the dependency of this, you need to also have support for real devices running iOS 9.3 plus. So make sure your iOS version in your mobile is greater than 9.3. Okay, so if you have a version less than 9.3, then you cannot run your Appium test. And you should also have a Xcode version which is 8 plus. Alright, so make sure you have these two dependencies. Once you have them, then you hit either this command or this command. So as you have downloaded Homebrew from my Word document command, I would recommend you to actually use this Homebrew command only. So after this, just hit this command brew install iOS-deploy, and that will get some additional dependencies which required. Okay, that's it. So two commands. I am not doing it here because I already installed it in my machine. So I can quickly do again and see what happens. So brew install iOS-deploy, and maybe it installs it again. That's it. But it's already there. You will see some logs generating here. Okay, you see that. All right, so once you have given these two commands, you see I got an error saying warning, this is already installed and up to date. Cool. So for you it will install for sure. For once you are done with these two commands installation, now let's go back and to our Word document and see what all other capabilities we require to run this test. So initially when we are running iOS tests on simulator, so we have some set of capabilities to run them, like device name, platform name, automation name, and app. All right. So apart from these four, we need four more capabilities to execute your test cases on iOS device. So one is Xcode org ID. So this is one of the capability, and you should also provide Xcode signing ID, which is by default iPhone developer. So you can simply copy this step and place it in your Eclipse. So that's pretty straightforward. Oops, Control V does not work here. Okay, now, and UDID is one of the capability which you have to provide, and also update bundle ID. All right, so these are the four capabilities you need to provide. Now we need to know what is the value of this Xcode org ID, UDID, and update WD bundle ID. If you know these three, that's all, and you can trigger your test in iPhone. Okay, so in the next lecture, let's try to understand how do we get values for these three attributes and place it into the steps so that you can run your iOS test smoothly on your real device. Okay, see you in the next lecture. Thank you.